up, guys? We are back for the last video of the week. Today is Thursday, January 30th, and we have 2 more days to try to bring up our win rate and our profit for the month. Last night we played around 7 hours. We started into the session losing, and then we cracked aces and won, and then we end up bluffing it all off. We played about 7 hours, lost around $275, and we're now about 7-19 for the session win rate, with around $3,600 in cheese. So that's the report for the week, and we'll check in on the final report for the month on Monday. So let's go to the interesting hand history first. Let's talk about how we got the cheese before we talk about how we blew it away. So we go under the gun 2. We'll call him Yes Sir. Yes Sir has $800. Then we have middle position 2. We'll call, that's me. So I have $900. And then in the hijack we have a military man that this is worked with bombs. So we'll call him Bomberman. Bomberman has 500. So before we set this hand up, this is the hand that we cracked aces against Yes Sir. Yes Sir is the unknown, the mark. So 3 hands before this, I was on the button and Yes Sir was in the hijack, and he raised and I had 5-5, and he raised to 35. I had 5-5. I 3-bet to 75, and he called. Flop was an ace high flop. I bet to 85, and he called. Turn paired the board. I bet to 115, and he called. And then the river brought a queen, which all paired aces chop. So it wasn't a good card to bet. Then I checked, and he shows 10-10 and goes yes. I go yes too as well, because you know what's gonna happen. So then I won $100 from him later, and then the second hand after that, and then this is where it sets up for this hand. So we have under the gun limps. Yes Sir raises to $35, and I am in the middle position 2, right? With the so I had to do that at 6 of spades, 5 of hearts, and you know we've been attacking Yes Sir. So Yes Sir, we're gonna attack you. So I call. And then Bomberman calls, and then under the gun who limp folds. So the flop is, the pot is now $115, right? The flop comes Queen of Clubs, 5 of Clubs, 5 of Hearts. Gotcha, Yes Sir. So, but then Yes Sir checks. So I was like, pretty bummed out. Then, so I bet 55. And then the Bomberman folds, and Yes Sir calls. He has a hand. So at this point, we put him on maybe a weak queen, maybe even jacks or 10s that, you know, like he just couldn't lay down. So we went for I guess because the reason we went for 115, we tried to size it just exactly the same way as we did on our turn C bet, so that if he does have jacks and 10s and 9s or any pair that's between queen and 6, that he'll call again. So we went to 115, and to our surprise, Yes Sir check raises to 400. Decision time. What is Yes Sir's check raising range here? Well, I don't think he has a 5 here. He's pretty much a standard big card player. So he can have ace queen, going for a little tricky. But I think he has more like kings and aces here, because it's a paired board on a 5, which gave him confidence to be able to play sneaky, knowing that it's not going to run out against his favorite with the paired board, right? And he has an overcard. So even if it runs king queen or something, my 2 pair is worse than his 2 pair. So we put him on an over pair. So of course we go all in, and he insta call, and the river comes a blank 2 of diamond, and he shows ace of heart and ace of spade. Yes, sir, we got him. So, of course, he left. And we won. We just kind of cruised through the day, through the night. And then towards the end of the night this is the hand of the night. So we have so I'm in the blind with $1,900 at this point. And then we have in the button an Asian guy. Plays loose but tight. Like, I played with him so far for about 2 weeks, and there's times where he would limp early position with ace-6 offsuit, flop middle pair, call a c-bet, turn third pair, calls another c-bet. So I don't know, he's loose, but he's tight, so we'll call him Lucy Tight. So Lucy Tight has around $890 in the button. The action goes to, it folds to everybody. Lucy Tight raises $20. I look down with 10 of spades and 10 of clubs. So this is the spot where you could 3-bet also, but I don't like to 3-bet out of position and build pots out of position. I rather my edge. I have a huge edge post flop, so I tend to keep the stack to pot ratio low post flop. That's my style. So I call. And the flop comes 9 of spade, 3 of club, 8 of hearts. So nothing special. So Lucy Tight c-bets 25. Standard c-bet. So I call. Nothing unusual yet. Turn comes the 5 of spade, and the pot is now $90. So Lucy Tight bets 55. So at this point, we need to at least start ranging him, right? He could have ace-9. He could have any of the pocket pairs, jacks, queens, kings, ace, ace-9. He could have 9-6, 9-7, 8-7, anything with a 6 in there or a 7 in there that picks a gut shot plus a pair. Also with spade draws now. So he picked up a lot of draws or combo draws, or he could be value betting a hand that he thinks is ahead of us. So we just call anyways. And the river comes the queen of clubs. So now the pot's now $200. Lucy Tight bets 155. So this is on the larger side. So now his hand strength, we could drop off all the 9s, all the, I guess, ace-9 stuff. So now his hand looks like an overpair or 2-pair or possibly a set that he was kind of pulling us along. But so we look down, and now really time to make a decision. So the queen was a really good card for our perceived range. We could have Jack 10 in there, right? 8-9, flop the open and straight draw, call, and then we have 2 blockers to go with it. And not only that, but so a lot of the only hands that picked up strength on the river or the show strength is now we have to put them on aces, queens, and kings. Jacks, I don't think is betting 155 on the river. So the pot's 400, and Lucy Tight had 785 left. So let's just say 800. So what we did was we decided to go all in. We had the blockers. We put him on a big overpair, and if he has queens here, it really sucks. But even with queens, we think he can fold. So let's do some rudimentary math. The pot is 400. We shove 800. So we need a success rate of 2 out of 3, right? So about 66% success rate, given the pot and size. If a third of the time he has aces, he's going to fold. A third of the time he has kings, he's going to fold. And a third of the time he has queens. Of that third of the time, I think half the time he might call, and half the time he might fold. So that half the time he might fold is where our edge and our profit comes in. And I think given that, and given the blockers, this is a marginal bluff. but I think we still have the edge there. And against a player that we played against a lot, even if we were to get called and lose, that this will set us up for winning a big pot later. So all that factored in, I went ahead and made a bluff. And he tanks for a really long time. And the more he tanks, the more I realize, God, he's got queens here. Like, can he fold this? Can he fold this? And then he finally he calls and flips over queen of spade, queen of diamond for the perfect river card to set us up and set him up. So we ended up losing, and after that we just kind of wind things down and call it a night, because we plan to put in a long session this weekend, 2 long sessions. So that was it. We cracked aces, then we bluffed it off. So time to hit the gym, keep it light, and just give our little body a little activity before we hit the poker table. See you in a bit. Welcome back, guys, for our last contemplation segment of the month. So this week, what we really talked about was the suffering, right? The causes of our suffering. So if we look back at the stuff we talked about this week, a lot of the mental suffering that we incur is rooted in is pretty much the results of our own actions and thoughts. So if we want to make an end to suffering or alleviate suffering, then we need to get control of our mind and our thoughts. And we do so by practicing little things at a time, being able to control our desires and our instincts and our compulsion, so that our mind is not every day being pulled in all directions. We don't want to be like a chariot with horses that are untamed, running, pulling the chariot in all different types of direction, no control at all. What we want to do is hone in and control and tame these horses and focus them. It's like our mind. We focus them in a certain direction, and we could practice controlling and taming these horses. And when we focus them, well, we become a much more efficient chariot. And that's where we want to work towards with our mind, is that we want to build up and control our mind so that we can focus it in doing whatever we need. So the best way we said was to do is start small with practical stuff every day, because as you do it, you start to benefit from this. And the way we practice even more is that we need to start to meditate more, because when we're meditating, what we're really doing is we're trying to control our mind. Our mind's gonna start running into thoughts, and we need to bring it back, and it's constant tug of war between the mind running away and us bringing it back. And that's what meditation is. It's the working on your bringing your mind back and holding it still, which is the inverse of physical fitness, right? Physical fitness requires movement, stress, and all this pressure, whereas mental fitness requires the opposite, the stillness, no stress, and just being able to be in a pure state of observation. So, and then we went to it and we talked about it, that the poker table is the best place for you to practice your observation, practice your skills of intelligence, practice your developing your perception, your focus, your concentration, your logical deduction. And then not only that, but when the time comes where negative emotions arises, it also allows you to practice keeping your cool, practice watching and looking for the root of these emotions and where they come from. And most of the time, it's the result of our perception, our sense of a loss. It's not actually anything physical that has happened to us, but it's our perception and our change of reality. So if we could see this, and we could see that our reality is based on our perception, and we could work on our perception, then eventually we could start changing our reality, right? We could start changing the way we perceive things. We start going from a glass half empty to now a glass half full. And then our perception keeps getting better and better each time, so that now things that used to matter to us, or things that we had thought had a lot of value, slowly just drops off on the side. Like we realize it's not important anymore, it has no value. And then because we see things for what they really are, we see the true nature of things. Our perception and our vision is not clouded by our crave and our desire and our compulsion, and we are actually thinking and observing and witnessing and finally seeing the truth. And that's where our goal is, to slowly move towards being able to see things deeper and clearer and have more insight. And all this requires us to put into practice, because you can think about it all day. Like we said, you can think about how mango tastes, and people could tell you how mango tastes, but you would never know how a mango tastes until you taste it yourself. So get to work. See you next week.